We're going to call the July 20th, 2023 meeting of the Cherokee Village City Council to order, please. If you all wouldn't mind, please stand and join with me the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recognize a moment of silence, please. Amen. Ms. Clerk, roll call, please.
Harrison? Here. Rachel Tatum? Here. Thompson? Absent. Martin?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Ishmael? Absent. Jeff Ham?
Here.
Roland? Absent. Mayor, clerk, and attorney present.
Okay. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you. Means we can get some business done. I got a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
We do need to make, hold on just a second, Mr. Taylor. We do need to make one addition to the new business in the agenda, and that will be to return the city financials back to pledges and collateral.
So moved.
Mr. Martin makes the motion. Mr. Tatum second it. Roll call vote, please.
Harrison? Yes. Rachel Tatum? Yes. Martin?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Jeff Ham?
Yes.
5 votes. Motion passed.
Okay. Do we have any public comments or questions on the agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to next. Get the approval of the minutes for the last meeting. Had a chance to read them over.
If there's no changes by anybody, I make a motion that we approve them as submitted. Second.
Motion by Mr. Martin, seconded by Mr. Tatum to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, moving on to correspondence. I didn't know, Lieutenant Buchanan, I didn't know, I was going to have Chief Lane read the letter, but I didn't realize that he wasn't going to be here. He had a prior engagement, but myself and the police department, a surplus 2010 Dodge Charger police vehicle that we could not use anymore for patrol duties. The college, Black River Technical College, where our officers attend the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy, was interested in it for a training vehicle to be used on their emergency vehicle operations course. So the vehicle was a donation to them to be used for that purpose.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Do we have to take it out of inventory first before we donate it? Mr. Abel?
Yes.
If it was already declared surplus.
Yes.
I don't know whether.
Was it already declared surplus? Because I don't remember it. So should we do that?
We can,
now?
yeah, we can do that. I don't know. I thought Chief Lane had done that, but we can declare it surplus.
Is there any?
That way it's on record.
There we go. I'm making a motion that we declare the 2010 Dodge Charger, I don't have a VIN number to put with it.
Brian, did we do that?
So the vehicle's value is below the threshold for the surplus value. It's
No, we have to take it physically out of our inventory to give it away. So this takes it out of our inventory.
my understanding with that though, Chief Lane was he was assuming because the value is below the $2,000 mark of the vehicle, it's not been in service since last year, that it was kind of written off as scrap.
But that's what we don't know. If it is still in our inventory, what we're gonna do now takes it out of our inventory,
Yeah.
puts it in the surplus, and then it's all good. Correct?
Correct.
Yes, that'll work.
Okay.
So you
But
would
since
say,
it went to a non-profit.
Profit.
Yeah, it went
really
to-
doesn't matter, but
Yeah, it
you need
was-
to take it out of the inventory.
yeah. Motion made by Mr. Martin to surplus the 2010 Dodge Charger police vehicle, and we'll add the VIN number. Seconded by Mr. Tatum. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Another correspondence is that I know the city council had received a letter from Mr. Thompson. And Ms. Clerk, would you care to read the letter, please?
Dated June 22nd, 2023. Cherokee Village Mayor and City Council. After careful consideration, I submit the following notices. Number 1, resignation from the Adjunct Phone System Replacement Committee. I am returning files that were provided to me by the city clerk. The mayor and city personnel can evaluate contractors' proposals. Number 2, resignation from the formal city Depository Business Review Committee. The deposits have been secured via the contracts presented to City Council and executed by the mayor. Current effects by city personnel to correct the accounting system errors will take additional time, and then the next steps can be considered by council members and the mayor. Number 3, resignation from the formal budget committee. I have devoted over 8.5 years to this committee, and I believe the process is well understood by department leaders and city personnel. Thank you for your time and consideration. Steve Thompson.
Any comments? So next we'll move on to the financial report. Is this a different mic? Yeah, usually I got that one.
Do you want that?
Can we all, can you hear, is it coming over the loudspeaker?
It is.
Okay, I was going to say, I didn't hear myself echoing. Moving on to the financial report. You got any questions for what's going on with the financial report? I will say, as Ms. Tatum pointed out, if I can find it, I know in the buildings and grounds, it's that part that's over 1,000%, that has to do with the roofs on the fire stations in the city hall. That's where that overage come in at, because it was money that was actually received last year, but it didn't get spent till this year. I actually had a conversation with the department heads since we're halfway through, more than halfway through the year. We was discussing about budget, trying to stay within the budgetary numbers, which the department heads have all done a really good job. They've stayed within where they need to be. There's a couple overages on the, of course, fuel and insurance stuff that's not really, it's hard for us to control. We don't control the insurance prices or the gasoline prices.
Are we going to take and correct our budget maybe next month?
Next month, we should have some numbers where we can do that, yes.
Okay.
Because there is one thing, myself and Charlie and Angela was talking about, they have some money into, it's a computer line item for a computer program, if I'm not mistaken, that hasn't been spent.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're going to see about using it, because we got bids to replace these light bulbs here, the ones that change colors and make a lot of noise, to LEDs, and to do some LED conversion to the outside lights where it'll actually be, not unsafe to walk in the sidewalk at nighttime. You'll actually be able to see what's going on, which The bids, we sent out for, was it 5?
Yes, sir.
And we got 2 or?
2.
Yeah, we got 2 back. We sent out for 5 bids, got 2 back. The guy that did Triple C, that did the senior center, had the best bid, had the lowest bid. It was under the $3,000 to do everything. So that's where that'll be coming from. So you might be, hopefully by next month, we'll see some improvements and we won't have to listen to this awful humming noise while we're in here.
I have 2 questions, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
First of all, on our lodging for our general fund, travel and lodging, we're 328% over our budget and it's only July. Are we expecting this to go a lot higher than that?
In the general fund, no, that was travel that we had took in January and in June. That I took in January, myself and the clerk and treasurer took in January, and then the clerk took in June to take training through the Arkansas Municipal League. So that's
Done for the year.
yeah, done for the year.
So
They'll be
Okay, so we're going to ask for a line item change on that next month then?
yes.
To get that
Yeah,
out.
we'll get that back. On
The other thing is asphalt. We've got 1,000% expense on that, I think, or I was looking at it wrong. We're up there.
yeah, 100. It's right at 100%. He's
It's
spent
and
the
we're-
allotted.
The reason why I'm asking for that one is we had discussed during our budgets that we were going to move that out of the ARPA funds and cover those 3. Are
Yes.
we planning on doing that next month then?
We can. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, you've got 2 numbers in here, your materials, your road oil, and I had scheduled those to come out of ARPA, and you're showing 104% over on that. And then the materials for your rock, you're not up there yet, but we need to move those out if we're going to use those funds.
Okay, any more questions on the finances? Okay, we can move on to the mayor's report.
Would you like to motion to approve those?
We don't need to approve them, because
Okay.
when we
They-
do
they-
the adjustment, that should fix everything next month.
Okay,
Should.
we're good.
Yeah, they'll be filed for audit. All right. So actually, I got a couple of things going on. I seen some buzz on the internet over the last couple of weeks about the the hopeful and proposed road project out here for the bridges. I did reach out to Brandon Love, an engineer with the highway department that's going to be over the project, and he said he assured me that as far as he knew, that he would check with all the different contractors and utilities, but he said as far as he knew that the highway were still on project, or still on date for the bids to be let out in November. He said now barring the utilities being moved. I have seen engineering companies out here doing their surveys and stuff, so I'm figuring if they're out here, they must be getting pretty close to getting it done, or hopefully moving on with it. And I actually today, or let me see, when we had our last meeting, we had some questions, and I see Miss Betsy's in the crowd. We were talking about, we was on the permits, whether SID was permitted or not. I talked to Mr. Charlie today, and we're assured that everything is up to date and on the level and good. We're all good with that. So we're not having any problems with getting permits, getting jobs done. I did send Miss Betsy an apology for my brash tone in my letter. I told her that it was not meant to be disrespectful. And I actually, in the email that I sent her, I said that I apologized. I said I thought when I sent the emails to Charlie and Angela that I got them forward to her too, which they was not. And also in my letter, I expressed to her that it was my hope that in the future, that people that are working against us could someday find a way to work for us half as much as they work against us, because if the whole community could get together, I don't see where this community could fail to succeed, because there's some things that are on the horizon that I see have the potential of happening in the next year or two that could be very amazing. But it's not going to happen if the community doesn't join together somehow. We have to all find a way to set our differences aside and join together. So. So with that update, most of my mayor's report gets out, doesn't hold true today, so I will make an amendment on that. But one thing I will put out there is Mr. Ishmael, and I was talking to Mr. Martin about it. Mr. Ishmael actually come by, and I said pool. It don't necessarily have to be a pool. He was asking me that if the city in the future would like to put a committee together to research about doing something for the kids. Whether it be a pool or a fun park or something close in here around the town center that the kids, updating Papoose, helping update Papoose Park or something that we can have for the kids. And that's kind of where that was going. It don't necessarily, I know I said pool, it don't have to be a pool, but that's just something we put out there, a splash park or something. Kids like water. We got the paperwork for the Omaha roof, so I guess we're all good to go. We can move on to the department reports unless somebody has a question. And I know me and my Swiss cheese memory, I've left something out, but I'll remember it later.
Have we addressed anything on Tohai Trails playground?
That's what I was thinking about.
I thought that was.
I knew I was. What
Between
is
the
it?
two of us, we've
Charlie,
got
what
it,
is
right?
his name? Justin?
Jared Trisco.
Jared Triska. There's a guy named Jared Triska that has offered to come help install the park equipment. We just got to get him nailed down to a day.
Yeah, we got a lot to do before he we
Yeah.
gotta, expand the pad and then, go from there. But, he's on board. I just gotta get the schedule together and personnel.
Yeah. Hopefully, yes, yeah. Yeah, and that's, hopefully we get that done, and then whenever the bats are not nesting, we can get Joey and the road crew back onto the extension of the Tohai Trail. I knew I was forgetting something. Thank you, Mr. Earl.
You are welcome, sir.
All righty, moving into department reports. There again, I didn't know Chief Lane was, I didn't realize he was going to be out today with the prior engagement, but we have filled the animal control officer position. And her name is Megan, and help me with the last name. Mansfield, Megan Mansfield. That's why I worked 26 years with a job with my name on my shirt. I didn't even have to remember my own. But Megan Mansfield filled the animal control position. And they're working, they're doing pretty good out there.
Does she have any helpers at all?
The
Other than, okay,
just one part-time worker paid by the city, and the rest are volunteers.
okay.
And actually, I'll say that I've been pretty gracious here lately that Brian Watson of the Sharp County, he's been bringing the inmates over to help when needed. So filling in with that. Got any questions on any of the department reports? Got anything to add, Fire Chief Cal? You had any updates on the truck?
I received an email probably a week or two ago. They're working on the body for the rear of the truck. I did email him back and asked him if he had heard any updates on the chassis itself, and he said not at this time. He said his Ford rep that he deals with and all that hasn't heard anything, but they're currently waiting on 16 chassis, I believe he said, as an OEM. There were fire trucks that are waiting on 16 chassis. Ours is in that ditch somewhere.
Yeah, okay. And an update on the police vehicles, we actually, we took delivery of the 2 police trucks. They're, Lieutenant Buchanan's actually he's outfitting one of them right now. Hopefully it'll be on the street.
I wondered if you're here tonight, but I'm just a little bit behind, so hopefully this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be on the street within a week. Yeah,
But don't do it in the heat.
yeah, understand with the heat, don't. Mr. Charlie, planning and zoning, you got anything to add to yours?
This, city recycling has moved over to the municipal,
Number-
to take with it.
Number 2, take her with the city recycle.
Yeah, municipal garage, and it's inside, and I got fans, I got water, bathroom, so it's a lot safer, I think, over there.
And so far, it's been well received. We wasn't for sure, but so far, it's been well received over there. It's more,
Yeah, I haven't had very many complaints.
okay,
So
so,
maybe some more signage is needed, possibly,
okay.
so the folks actually can see it, pulling down,
Do we still have a big dumpster over there, or we won't see that until the fall?
Yeah, that's our dumpster.
Okay.
Why?
Oh, just thinking.
Place to bury the bodies.
Alrighty, no, which I see Joey hadn't made it yet, but they have done a really good job. I know people, if you've driven out on Tonganoxie lately, they've done a really good job getting that one covered. We did have an incident where some person decided to test out their acceleration in the middle of our brand new road. So that street department had to go back and fix that. And but they've done a pretty good job. They've been out really doing some potholes this summer, and they're trying to get caught up. I know that it's been a few years and they've kind of got behind, and they're just been trying to get caught up, and they're doing a good job.
And it's still best to call in and let them know, because they do take reports.
Yes.
So don't assume they're just gonna know that they're, gotta
Yes.
call them and let them know.
Yes, call out to the street department and they get it on the list. A&P, Mr. Rob, since in Miss Pam's absence, you want to comment on A&P and the eclipse?
Last meeting, we worked really hard to pull together the list of consultants. We went ahead and did the 3 ads in the paper, and we had 2 hopeful candidates. Next week, we plan on adding one of those consultants to our roll so we can get up and running. Right now, what we're concentrating on are the list of activities that will take place for that weekend. We're going to start on Friday night, run through Saturday and Sunday, and then wrap up on Monday afternoon, the day of the eclipse. Our hope at this point is, our desire at this point is to run activities beyond the eclipse. What we have discovered from talking to other cities who've been through this is that everyone hops in their car 1 minute after the eclipse is over with, and you have 2,000 to 3,000 people trying to exit the area all at once. What we would like to do is create an activity that will allow some of these people to want to stay. We've encouraged our Airbnb people to give their people a 4-night stay, or make it mandatory that they stay 4 nights in order to get rooms for that weekend. And again, this will encourage people to stay overnight on Monday night into Tuesday morning. So we're hoping to mitigate the traffic problems that we could possibly have. We've taken a look at the activities that we're going to have throughout that weekend. We've got about 17 rounded up. Of course, it takes the people to make the mission happen. So now we'll be looking at who's going to volunteer for what activities as they go on. We've identified our locations where we would like to have this. Our next step is to include the police department and the fire department in our discussions to let them know what the activities are, where they're going to be held at, what we're expecting as far as crowd control, and start working with our law enforcement to make sure that we've got proper supervision for our adults as we're going through the activities.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a formidable task to take on, organizing all this.
This makes 4th of July look like a Cracker Jack. I mean, it's just amazing what we're running into with this. But it's exciting. I think that this should be something that's very, as the mayor was saying earlier, this is an opportunity for this city to shine, and it's an opportunity for a lot of people who have been opposed to each other to come together and actually start working together to make something happen in this city that we won't have a chance to do this again in our lifetimes.
Thank you, Mr. Robb. The airport, I was actually talking to Mr. Neville today. We was talking about the airport. They have some, between the airport committee and Mr. Al out there, they got some pretty amazing things going on out at the airport. We need to be proud of a community our size has an airport like that. Not very many communities do, and they're doing some amazing things out there. A grant, Officer Buchanan, Lieutenant Buchanan actually spoke to a guy today that we're maybe hoping to get to come in to help us write some grants. He's a good guy, and he's willing to come in and help and do, I won't necessarily say pro bono, but he's going to do the grant writing, and he'll get his cut out of the grant part of it. So it really won't cost the city, shouldn't cost the city money. We can move on into, well, what you already did, the old business. Old business number one was the animal control vacancy update, what I said, Megan Mansfield filled the animal control officer position. New business is the moving the city's financials back to pledges and collateral from the Intrify, from the sweep method, which I will say that I've talked to Jessica Harper at the bank at FNBC, and she has assured me that the city is secure in the interest rate that was promised to them at least until April of 2024, at which time she said you would have to come in and negotiate an interest rate anyway. She said it would just be you need to come negotiate every 12 months for an interest rate. The one thing that it will do is that right now the city is making it's 3% flat is what we're making on the sweep, because it's the Intrify makes the 0.15 for their management of the funds. So when we go back to the pledges and collateral, we are going to get paid the full 3.15. So we're going to gain a 0.15, which don't sound like much, but that's dollars. You watch the dollars, they add up. And it's our computer system that's what it's designed to use. That's what the ladies in the office are trained on. That's what's simple in my mind. So it's just going back to simple. Instead of making things difficult, we can make it simple.
I make a motion that we adopt this new
Financial.
You're saying no.
No, financial rules or financial.
We are returning to the old system, not making a new one.
Yes.
So your
So,
motion would be to
I mean-
return to the previous system.
Is there a name for the previous system?
Pledges.
And the pledges and
Pledges and
pledges and
Okay,
collateral.
I make a motion, we return to pledges and collateral.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Martin, seconded by Miss Tatum. I couldn't remember. Yeah, I didn't know which one it was. Miss Tatum, to return to the pledges and collateral. Need a roll call vote, please.
Rachel Tatum,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes?
Smith,
Yes.
Jeff Tatum,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
That's 5 yes votes.
Motion passes. And I want to thank Mr. Jeff. I know you're working and on duty. I just want to thank you for being able to be here so we could get this passed and not have to put it off another month.
Thank you, council, for the treasurer office. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the hard work you do.
So now we're down to the comments and questions on city-related business. Ms. Wall, please state your name and job title, please. I know we know who you are, but that way it's on the record.
Betsy Law, the general manager with STED. I would like to personally thank you for acknowledging your changes to your mayor's report tonight.
Yes.
I hope that in the future that if we ever have statements or conversations and a change of heart, that we can pick up the phone and contact each other and speak like adults and move forward from that. I will say that it does not change where I stand with Sid and our goal to move forward and work with the city to try to come together and overcome this relationship that we've had in the past and improve it going forward. I would like to comment briefly just on the lawsuit with the fire hydrants. You know, I know everyone in this room understands that the settlement changed things and how we move forward with the differences in what we were funding to the city. As we learned in that lawsuit, that Sid could not fund or subsidize the city, that same rule follows with the fire hydrants. We have nothing to do with the fire and safety of that, and so that was something that was told to us by our attorneys, and these are not personal decisions that we've made, these are decisions that we followed from legal counsel. We hope that there can be some kind of agreement moving forward with the water company and the maintenance on the fire hydrants, but unfortunately, these are the steps that we were forced to have to make. It's nothing personal. We want to work with the city. We want to improve the relationship with the city, and we're going to do our part. That's not going to change. So thank you for letting me have an opportunity to respond to this, and thank you for your email and your comments tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Betsy.
Thank you.
And on the city's behalf on that topic, I would like to remind everybody that we didn't exist when that agreement was made. So there's another thing that the lawyers are throwing us into, and I have no idea why.
Do you have any other business to come before the city tonight?
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Martin, second by Mr. Smith to adjourn. Motion, say aye.
Yay!
Aye. Motion passes.